In the studio, we have Brittany Simpson, Onboarding and Outreach Manager of Site Strategics. Brittany.
Hi.
How are you doing, ma'am?
Fine, how are you?
I'm good. We also have Jason Williams, Executive Director of Centric Incorporated.
He just chewed on all of those
I
words.
did.
Absolutely.
Jason, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, doing well. Thanks for having me on today.
You are more than welcome. So we're talking about Centric Indy. This is the concept. You're an Indianapolis-based network of resources for innovators here in Indianapolis. So tell us more about what Centric is all about and what you're doing around Indy.
Yeah, so Centric Inc. I've been around about 9 years. So we are a nonprofit, like you said, based here in Indianapolis. So really, our driving mission, how do we elevate Indiana as a recognized center of innovation? And so we've been doing this for several years, really birthed out of the frustration, some of the providers in the innovation space. Just kind of being overlooked because they are here in Indiana. So, very similar to even some of the frustrations in the tech community we see, right? Of kind of that other coast or flyover country. And I think, the same exists in the innovation realm, even as far as non-tech innovation. And so we saw there was a need to really, how do we kind of connect, innovation-minded folks together from across a bunch of different industries. And so we try to accomplish that mission of better recognition for what's happening here by, again, connecting folks, but then really educating folks. So really, a place to come together to talk about best practices, teach innovation-related skills, whether it be a specific framework or tool or best practice.
Well, that's fantastic, and we are certainly honored to be able to connect with organizations such as yourself, because it's not just about bringing startups to a conference. It's really about getting them to share and finding out how best to do things, and we know we have great relationships with organizations like NX3 and Launch Fishers and Launch Indiana. All these focuses are really invested into growing that startup community, but also continued education and assurance and mentorship, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about that continued education piece, or really workforce development piece. I think these innovation-related skills, and you mentioned, several of these technology-focused or startup, focused groups.
Yep.
I mean, certainly as you see more and more surveys out there, CEO, C-suite surveys, even on a national scale, right? We see a lot of technical skills rising up the ranks. But equally, you're seeing a lot of these softer, what I would call innovation-related skills rising up the chart as far as creativity, critical thinking, empathy, problem solving. And so these are the skills we're really trying to come in and address that, not only apply and are needed in the tech sector, but are certainly needed across all sectors and really across all departments, whether you're customer service or your brand management or your product manager or your business development, right? I mean, everyone needs to be able to think creatively and really be equipped with the tools and frameworks to do so.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You've got an event coming up on October 12th, your Day of Innovation, that's being held on the Butler campus. Can you tell us a little bit about that event and then also share with us the coupon code for Edge of Indy? I understand we have a special code we can share. Yeah,
absolutely. So, Day of Innovation is our full-day conference we put on. And so, as I've been talking about just how we, our programming. So we do workshops throughout the year here in central Indiana, but then we've built this full-day conference that happens in mid-October. This is our 5th year for the full-day conference. And we built this around, we also have a program called the Indiana Innovation Awards. So kind of that celebrate piece. So connect, educate, and celebrate. But we saw a need, or really an opportunity to say, we do these, one-off workshops, every month. Hey, let's build a platform where we can do all these workshops in one day and really concentrated effort. And so this conference was born. So Day of Innovation is just that. Again, a mix of some keynote presentations, a wide variety of different workshops, breakout sessions to attend, and also these awards.
Oh, and this is a great day, and we certainly implore all the watchers and listeners of Edge of Indy share this information, because it is a huge day of just focus on that creative aspect and that and building that talent. Would you care to mention any of the speakers that are at that day that are lined up there?
Yeah, happy to. And I guess one thing we're really excited about every year is kind of the growing number of folks we're able to bring in, but also focused on the fact that we are bringing together a lot of different companies, a lot of different sectors. So, locally we lean on a lot of facilitators. We have several enterprise innovators. So we've got folks from Anthem, Elanco coming in to lead some sessions and really kind of, a look behind the curtains on how they do innovation. We have a lot of the local service providers, so some folks like Innovate Map, Doris Research are in there. And then our keynotes this year, so this is kind of the first year, a full national lineup. So we have Hannah Stein is the Senior Director of Global Insights for Mattel. So I love her elevator pitch. Her job is Tom Hanks from Big. She gets to go out and find the new toys for Barbie and Hot Wheels. We have Maria Odi-Maracho, is the president and founder of Entrepreneurs at Allstate up in Chicago. So really, how Allstate has created really a company within a company to really help innovation, but also kind of that crowdsource internally, right? How do we have kind of startup and innovation competitions within this this big corporation of Allstate? And Michael Graber is principal founder at Southern Growth Studio down in Memphis. So well-known innovation writer and speaker and thought leader out there.
You have a good memory. Yeah. That was impressive. Thank you. Well, and given the range and variety of the sectors that you just touched on, who is the ideal audience for this event? Who should really attend this event and make sure it's on their calendar and make sure they get tickets? Like, who is this intended for?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, good question. We certainly like to say, well, it's everyone. But in reality, I think there's a certain kind of innovation-minded or open-mindedness, right? I mean, we recognize that, we're not an event focused on a specific sector, right? So, we're not the marketing event or the technology event or the consumer products event. So, it's really anyone kind of open to those, innovation-related ideas, not specific to their sector, but really it does boil down to a lot of the folks that I would say have some of those innovation-related skills. So, we see a lot of, again, the innovation design community. So, someone like an Innovate Map is leading a session, but certainly these, design innovation consultancies, we see a lot of those folks. We see a lot of product managers, brand managers, business development, with smaller startups or nonprofits, we see a lot of your executive and decision makers. But really, it's those people that are really tasked with solving problems or coming up with the new ideas to solve those problems.
Problem solvers.
Yeah.
Well, what you're doing is demonstrating by the individuals there that it's not just about, again, not particular verticals, but it's about how to approach innovation and looking at challenges, demonstrating the challenges that they actually had in front of them, and then be able to turn around and demonstrate the discipline of creativity, right? And therein lies a particular oxymoron, is that creativity. You tend to think, hey, let's just go whiteboard ourselves to success, and that's not the case. You have to be able to have those moments, but you also have to have the ability to conduct yourself towards those goals on a regular in a disciplined fashion, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess as far as that process, so even I see it behind us here. So the theme this year is Ready, Set, Go, and we've really built that around kind of that. The steps of innovation, but really that process of, so we have a batch of ready sessions, or I mentioned, the consumer insights, this kind of trend hunting leader from Mattel, but a lot of ready sessions that have to do with that, call it front end of innovation. So we have several sessions focused on, observation methods to get out and understand problems from your end users, your consumers.
Yeah, there it is.
How do you just identify problems in the marketplace that need solved? Would be some of those tracks. Set is really kind of the nuts and bolts of innovation. So we have some sessions on rapid prototyping. We have sessions on kind of the lean sprints, and really here's a framework to follow to allow your team to innovate. And then Go is kind of all about implementing that. And so we have some sessions kind of focused around how do you implement a culture of innovation, right? How do you kind of rally your team? We have actually two different firms kind of focused on place or design, the physical design. So how do you kind of design an office space or physical environment that helps spur innovation? Kristen Cooper from the Startup Ladies will be joining us, really talking about how a diverse workforce and a diverse environment helps spur innovation. So again, all kind of following that Ready, Set, Go theme to really spark innovation.
Anything about bacon? and the inclusion of bacon into
I am
into
sure
culture.
we have something with bacon in
I
it,
didn't
sir,
know that
at
was
lunch,
coming, sorry.
and if not, I will make sure that
It's
there
an
is
inspiring thing,
Yeah,
and there
absolutely.
needs to be more meat creativity
More
in the
bacon.
workplace.
Yeah, there absolutely does need to be more bacon. We are happy to partner with the good folks at Nameless Catering, and I think Jeremy's been on here before, so
Yeah.
I will make sure that there are some maybe bacon flights. We'll do some bacon flights.
Oh
On,
my gosh!
yeah.
Yes, all the bacons. So let's talk. There you go, everybody.
He's hungry. Sorry, everyone.
So you have some really great sponsors for the event. Would you mind recognizing a few here today?
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly like any organization, right, especially a nonprofit, we wouldn't be able to do this without the help of our sponsors. So first and foremost, I want to thank Butler University and the Lacey School of Business over at Butler. They've been a strong partner of ours for several years now, obviously hosting in addition to helping support the ongoing events and just our growth throughout the year. Eli Lilly, Fager Baker Daniels are two strong partners of ours across the year. RJE Business Interiors, Gixie Digital Marketing, and there's several folks that are coming in to really help us ramp up towards this event and then build towards further growth next year.
Oh, beautiful.
As far as becoming a member of Centric, can you give us that protocol and how the process works and why people should become a member?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we do have memberships available. So it's just on the Centric site, really launched that into 2017 as far as joining memberships. And really it's just a way, again, bringing together a lot of corporate folks, right? It's a way to help, buy into the season up front and be in that pipeline for what's coming out. And so we do have a membership page up now for 2018 on the website. But I also acknowledge that we are certainly not membership only, right? I mean, we have any of our workshops are open to the public for a nominal fee. And so there, we certainly encourage you to take a look at all the upcoming workshops. Yep.
Your team also spearheads the Indiana Innovation Awards,
That's
which the winners were literally just announced within the last couple of days. And we wanted to shout out one of the winners, my dear friends at Garden Party Botanical Hard Soda. Shout out to my friends there. They won one of the awards, which I think is incredible. And if memory serves, it was the only female-owned winner.
I believe this year,
I believe that's
Yep.
true. So good job, friends. I'm proud of you.
Absolutely.
Can you talk more about those awards and kind of your insight into those and the winners?
Yeah. So thanks for mentioning the awards. We're 7 years into the awards, and as I mentioned, the conference we kind of built into that around the awards. But as we were starting to pull folks together for these meetups, if you will, for these monthly workshops, we realized, okay, we have this connect and educate piece, but kind of that third piece that was missing from doing our job to shine a spotlight in Indiana is really that celebrate piece, or literally just shining that spotlight. How do we just brag on what's happening here? And so we realized there was an opportunity to create this awards program that didn't just focus on the company or the people, but really focused on the output, right? What are the new innovations? What are the new solutions that are out there in the marketplace? And again, reflecting Centric as a whole, right? Cross sector, there's no categories. We've had everything from sodas to the orangutan exhibit at the zoo. We had a shrimp farm outside of Lafayette, Indiana. We've had some agricultural folks. We've had software and tech, consumer products. Delta Faucet's been in the pipeline. So it's been awesome
there.
too.
There was a pun there. Did you catch that? Delta Faucet in the pipeline.
Oh yeah. There. I meant that. That was intended. But yeah, so it's been exciting to help uncover and really tell the stories of some of these companies, and certainly we've seen some of the winners, obviously known entities, but others like a Garden Party, right? I mean, really just kind of starting to really be known, certainly outside of Indiana. And so, another great batch of winners. This year's we had 48 finalists that our judges went into looking, and this year's applicants came from as far north as Gary and as far south as Evansville. So really covering the state. We had, I think it was 15 different counties that we saw applications from this year.
Well, my favorite winner.
Yeah.
So let's talk about innovation here in Indianapolis. How would you describe our local innovators, and what is your take on the level of innovation that's happening right here in Circle City?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly a great time, for innovation. Obviously, the tech sector, right, is really driving a lot of that. Not only in practice, but certainly awareness, right? I mean, how can it not be a great time for innovation when Salesforce is on the tallest tower in the city now? But I think that's bringing a lot of well-deserved attention to the city. But I think likewise, you're getting to see just a lot of the the creative problem solvers getting their time in the spotlight as well. So I mentioned the zoo or the cultural trail, right? I mean, we have some thought leadership in other areas, even in addition to the tech sector. People for urban progress, just as innovative, right? Big Car,
absolutely,
with what Jim Walker's doing down there and some of his placemaking initiatives. So, I think it's a great time for Indianapolis innovation. I think we have a lot of creativity in the city. I think we have a lot of creative solutions to a lot of problems out there that are taking place right here in our backyard.
I think that's the best thing, and you iterated it very well. Is that there is. As much as there's a focus on the technical side of things, it's about innovation. It's non-denominational when it comes down to what vertical, what sector you're in, and you really need to have that level of full understanding of how to be innovative in your respective career paths, in your respective vocations. That's what you're epitomizing with the innovation summits that you have and the awards that you're providing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd say another important aspect of Indianapolis, I think kind of that sense that yes, we're a big city, but we're still a small enough community that anyone can really connect with anyone here. So I think a lot of that, I really call it the serendipity that helps drive innovation, right? Those connections that we've seen, through some of our events, or even just through some of the other events, right? I mean, INX3 and Powder Keg and just these growing platforms. But when you can see scientists at Lilly starting to collaborate with musicians at the ISO, or these. Some of the tech companies, obviously, starting to work with Speakeasy is working with Big Car now in this kind of arts and entrepreneurship, series. I think these are the collaborations and specifically these cross-sector collaborations that are only continuing to drive what's happening here.
Pushing the pause button on this regarding what's happening out at Speakeasy. Can you speak to? Are you familiar with the Kenzie Academy that's coming in there on the third floor?
Yeah, I am aware of it. I guess I haven't. I know I've actually even got a few kind of intro emails waiting to be read. But that little part about a conference I'm hosting next week. So obviously
you are pretty much just blinders on right now.
He's also not eating or sleeping right now.
right. Except for bacon. But but no, I have seen the headlines, I suppose. I look forward to learning more.
Yeah, a coding academy coming downtown, and it's just fantastic to be able to see. It's not just a startup boot camp type of thing, but it's actually a full-on 6-month, 2-year course down there.
Right.
Central, again, it's not just about tech, and this is what we're talking about here. It's great to be able to demonstrate and see that type of innovation coming into downtown. But we want to make sure that all the revenues, all the tracks of innovation are best represented, and that's what your group is doing on a regular basis. So let's talk about where the event's being held to begin with.
Yeah, so again, with so Day of Innovation, we are at the campus of Butler University.
Cool.
As far as parking, the Butler has a new parking garage up there that we're certainly forwarding folks to. But I guess one thing, again, another little shout out to our hosts at Butler. I think one reason that the campus really plays well for a conference, we get the opportunity. It looks like at least the early forecast now, another beautiful fall day in October. We get the chance to really roaming conference that pops in and out of a couple different buildings. So really some of those walking meetings that talking about that serendipity between sessions, but really getting to enjoy beautiful Indiana fall weather and a beautiful campus in the middle of a beautiful city at the same time.
Go Dogs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is a beautiful campus, and kudos to them of really opening up these type of summits and these conferences regularly, because it certainly is going to rub off on the Butler students there as well. So, I mean, they can jump in and participate. So how do they get a hold of Centric Indy?
Yeah, so centricindy.org is our site, and then daveinnovation.com as well for that initiative. But everything lives on centricindy.org. And I'd say we're really excited about, obviously getting past, doing Day of Innovation next week. But I've talked about these workshops We really have been Central Indiana heavy, over the course of our lifetime. But we did a workshop up in the Gary area back in August, and we're working on some workshops at Lafayette area, the Jeffersonville area. So moving into 2018, we're really excited about growing these monthly workshops and chances to connect and learn across the state. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Oh, absolutely, and keep us abreast of that because we'll certainly give shout outs as those events are broadcast out. You're doing a great thing, Jason, and we need more players like yourself, not just going in their own innovation circuit, but actually showcasing and shouting from the rooftops. This is what Indiana's about. This is what Indianapolis is about.
Right.
And we need, again, it's this Silicon Prairie concept, but the problem is, that's tech. Sorry, moving away.
The basket bin.
Basin. See, I thought that was never going to come back and haunt me, but yeah, if you saw last week's show, literally.
He called Indiana a basket basin.
The intro was terrible. But it's about the fact that the Midwest does not proclaim its innovation nearly as much as other parts of the country. Yeah, we're humble by nature, and we need to be able to have that broadcast, that bullhorn out there regularly, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You're one of them, and it certainly is inspiring, and keep on doing the good work.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
We're excited, and I like to think of it. Obviously, the crossroads of America. That we like to view it as the crossroads of innovation.
There it is.
I think we're.
I like that a lot better than basket basins. That's
Right.
for damn sure. We're also going to be out there. We're going to send some of our troops out there to be able to give some additional lift from the social media standpoint. We really love to be plugged into organizations and events like this. So I appreciate the opportunity to be able to come out there.
Also, the coupon code to save is Edge of Indy. Is that right?
I believe that's right.
Okay,
I will double check. If it's not Edge of Indy, there will be an Edge of Indy code
Okay.
as soon as I get back behind a computer. But
right.
Edge of Indy. Yes.
Perfect.
And you can also follow Jason on his Twitter, Jawbrain. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Where'd Jawbrain come from?
Yeah, so I wish there was a long explanation to that. Jaw's my initials,
Okay.
and originally it was going to be Red Jaw, right? The red hair, and some guy in the UK had that, so Jawbrain was short, catchy, and available. So
There it is.
that's
All right.
Yeah.
Well, follow Jawbrain, and certainly jump into the innovation day of innovation coming up. That's October 12th, and also watch for the Innovation Awards and lift up the innovators that made those awards. I mean, they put forth a heck of a lot of energy, and they put their blood, sweat, and tears into these initiatives. So give love where love is due. All right.